Okay, so last hangout we had to cut short because of technical difficulties and a few little mishaps. I didn't realize I was recording myself. So we're going to finish off with the last part of the video that we had paused at and continue with the rest of our class. Enjoy. Let me share this into my group so that everyone in my class, assigned in my class, can log into the video as well. Give me a second. And also, I'm hoping this should be recorded. It's a live hangout. So, yeah. I'm going to start sharing my screen in a moment. Be able to just play from the video. Okay. Now, let me share my screen. Excuse my little mishaps. Entire screen. Now, we're gonna go to the movie and we're gonna press play. And then we're gonna do full screen. And now we're playing.
This is such a holographic experience, so real in this moment that you don't even feel like you need the car. It feels like you already have it. It's the feeling that really creates the attraction, not just a picture or the thought. I think for a lot of people, I think positive thoughts, or if I visualize having what I want, that would be enough. But if you're doing that and still not feeling abundant or feeling, loving and joyful, then it doesn't, from my mind, really create the power of the attraction. This is where the secret actually moves into action. You put yourself in the feeling place of really being in that car. Not, oh, I wish I could get that car, or someday I'll have that car. Because that's a very definite feeling associated with that. It's not in the now, it's not, it's in the future. If you stay in that feeling, it will always be in the future. Feel the joy, feel the happiness, no matter how silly it seems in that dark and quiet room. And you're going, woohoo! Do it! A lot of people will say, come on, do I have to do that? How bad do you want to? Now that feeling and that inner seeing will begin to be an open doorway through which the power of the universe will begin to express. Our job is not to figure out how. The how will show up. The commitment and the belief in the what. The hows are the domain of the universe. It always knows the shortest surprised and dazzled by what delivered to you. This is where magic and miracles happen. Well, I would say you want to do this virtually daily, but my disclaimer is this should never be a chore. What's really bottom line importance here to the whole secret is feeling good. You want to feel exhilarated about this whole process. You want to be high, happy, in tune as much as possible.
The only difference between people who live in this way, who live in the magic of life, and those who don't, is the people who live in the magic of life have habituated ways of being. They've made a habit of using the law of attraction, and magic happens with them wherever they go. Because they remember to use it. They use it all the time, not just as a one-time event.
People hold that for a while, and they're really champion at it. And they say, you know what, I'm fired up. I saw this program, and I'm going to change my life. And yet, you know, results aren't showing, and the service is just about ready to break through. And someone will look at the surface results and go, this stuff doesn't work. You know what the universe says? Your wish is my command. And it goes down.
You know, knowing the law of attraction, I wanted to really put it to use to see if, you know, what would happen. And in 1995, I started to create something called a vision, where I take something that I would want to achieve, or something that I want to attract, like a car or a watch or the soulmate of my dreams, and I put a picture of what I wanted up on this board called the vision. And then every day I would sit in the office, I would look up at this board, and I would start to visualize. I really get into this state of having already acquired it. I was getting ready to move it, so we put all the furniture, all the boxes, put into storage, and I made 3 different moves over here. And then I ended up in California, and this house renovated for a year, and then had all the stuff brought from my former home 5 years earlier. One morning, at 7:30 in the morning, my son comes into my office, and one of the boxes that was sealed for 5 years was right at the doorstep. And my son, Keenan, was sitting on the box, banging away at the box, and I said, "Sweetheart, will you please stop? I'm doing some work here." I said,
"What's in the box, Daddy?"
I said, "Well, honey, those are my vision boards."
"What's a vision board?"
I said, "Well, it's where I put all my goals up, cut them out, and put all my goals up, something I want to achieve in my life." Of course, at 5.5 years old, I didn't understand it. So I said, "Sweetie, let me just show you. That'll be the easiest way to do it." And so I cut the box open, and when I pulled up vision board, there was a picture on there of a home that I was visualizing 5 years earlier. And what was shocking to me was we were living not a house like it. I bought my dream home, renovated it, and didn't even know it. But I looked at that house, I started to cry. I was just blown away. honey, I finally understand the law of attraction. I finally understand the power of visualization. I finally understand everything that I've read, everything that I've worked with my whole life. I've built companies. It worked for my home as well. And our dream home. I didn't even know it. Decide what you want. Believe you can have it. Believe you deserve it. Believe it's possible for you. And then close your eyes every day for several minutes and visualize having what you already want and feeling the feelings of already having it. Come out of that and focus on what you're grateful for already. And really enjoy it. Okay? And then go into your day and release to the universe and trust that the universe will figure out how to manifest it. But the secret was definitely a real transformation for me because I grew up in a family where my dad was very negative, thought that rich people were people that ripped everyone off, thought that anyone who had money, must have deceived somebody. So I grew up with a lot of beliefs about money that if you had it, it made you bad, and only evil people had money, and money doesn't grow on trees. That was the big one. Who do you think I am, Rockefeller? That was one of his favorite friends. So I grew up truly believing that life was difficult, that it was hard, you had to struggle. And it was only when I met W. Clement Stone that I literally began to shift my life. When I was working with Stone, he said, I want you to set a goal that's so big that if you achieve it, it would blow your mind. And you know it's only because of what I've taught you that you would have achieved this goal. Well, at the time, I was making about $80,000 a year. And for some reason, I wanted something that was really measurable. So I said, I want to make $100,000 in a year. Now, I had no idea how I could do that. I thought on a strategy, no possibility. But I just said, I'm going to declare that, I'm going to believe it, I'm going to act as if it's true, and release it. And so I did that. And one of the things he taught me was every day to close your eyes, visualize the goal that's already achieved. And I had actually made $100,000 bill that I put on this ceiling. So the first thing I'd see when I woke up, I'd look up, and there it was. It would remind me this was my intention. And then I would close my eyes and visualize having this $100,000 year lifestyle. And interestingly enough, nothing major happened for about 30 days. I didn't have any great break ideas. No one was offering me more money. And all of a sudden, I finished check out. It was about 4 weeks to do it. I had $100,000. It just came right into my head. I had Now, the book was there, but I never had this thought. And one of the secrets, I think, is that when you have inspired thought, you have to trust it, you have to act on it. Now, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how I was going to sell 400,000 copies. We'd never done that. And then I saw the National Enquirer at the supermarket. I'd seen that millions of times, and it was just background. All of a sudden, it jumped out of me in its foreground, and I thought, wow, readers knew about my book. Certainly, 400,000 people would go out and buy it. And about 6 weeks later, I gave a talk at Hunter College in New York to 600 teachers. This lady comes up to me and she says,
"That was a great talk. I'd like to interview you. Let me give you my card."
and I said, who do you write for?
I'm a freelancer, but I saw myself to the national platform.
You know, and I had this little theme from the Twilight Zone went off in my head. Well, this stuff's really working. So that article came out, and our book sales started to take off. But the point I want to make is that I was attracted into my life all these different events, including this person. And to make a long story short, I did not make $100,000 that year. We made $92,327. But you think we were like depressed, going, this doesn't work? No, we were going, wow, this is amazing. And so my wife said to me, wow, for 100,000, you think you could work for $1 million? And I said, I don't know. I think so. Let's try it. My publisher actually wrote me a check, a royalty check for our first chickens for this book. And he actually put a smiley face in his signature because it was the first $1 million check he'd ever written. And so I know from my own experience, because I wanted to test it, to see it really work. And when we put it to the test, it absolutely worked. And now I live my life from that every single day.
Well, I can just imagine what a lot of people that are watching this are thinking. And that is, how can I attract more money into my life? How can I get more of the green stuff? How can I get more wealth and prosperity? How can I, when I love my job, deal with the credit card debt that I have, and the realization that maybe there's a ceiling on the money that can come in because it's coming to me through my job? How can I bring in more? Intended. It goes back to one of the things we've been talking about throughout the whole secret. Your job is to declare what you would like to have from the catalog of the universe. Well, if cash is one of them, say how much you would like to have. I would like to have $25,000 unexpected income within the next 30 days, or whatever it happens. It should be believable for you. Most people have a goal of getting out of debt. That'll keep you in debt forever. Whatever you're thinking about, you will attract. You'll say, hey, but it's get out of debt. I don't care if it's get out or get in. If you're thinking debt, you're attracting debt. Set up an automatic debt repayment program and then start to focus on prosperity.
So many times people say to me, well, I'd like to double my income in the next year. But then you look at their actions and they're not doing the things that are going to make that happen. And, they'll turn right around and go, well, I can't afford that. Okay, guess what? Your wish is my command.
When you focus on lack and scarcity and what you don't have, you fuss about it with your family, you discuss it with your friends, you tell your children that you don't have enough, we don't have enough for that, we can't afford that. Well, guess what? You'll never be able to afford it because you begin to attract more of what you don't have. If you want abundance, if you want prosperity, then focus on abundance. Focus on prosperity.
When I first understood the secret, I was getting bills every day. I'd get a bunch of bills in the mail, and I said, how do I turn this around? The law of attraction states that what you focus on you will get. So I got a bank statement. I whited out the total, and I put a new total in there. I put exactly how much I want to see in the bank. So that what if I just visualized checks coming in the mail? So I just visualized a bunch of checks coming in the mail. Within just 1 month, things started to change. And it's amazing. Today I just get checks in the mail. I get a few bills, but I get more checks than bills.
I grew up on you have to work hard for money. You have to work hard for money. And so I replaced that with money comes easily and frequently. Now, in the beginning, it feels like a lie, right? There was your brain that was saying, oh, you liar, it's hard. So you have to know it's this little mismatch that will go on for a while.
When it comes to creating wealth is a mindset. It's all about how you think.
I'd say 80% of my coaching that I do in one-on-one with folks is about their psychology and the way they think. And I know people are listening, they say, oh, well, you can do it, I can't. Every person has the capability to change the way they're in a relationship and conversation with money.
I find so many people who maybe make a tremendous amount of money, but their relationships stink. That's a technical term, by the way. And that's not well. It really isn't. You can go after the money, you might get rich, but it doesn't guarantee you'll be wealthy. I'm not suggesting that the money isn't part of wealth. It absolutely is. But it's only a part. And then I meet a lot of people who are quote unquote spiritual, but they're sick and broke all the time. That's not wealth either. Life is meant to be in all areas.
Many people in Western culture are striving for success. They want a home, they want business, they want all these outer things. But what we found in our research is that having these outer things does not necessarily guarantee what we really want, which is happiness. So we go for these outer things, thinking they're going to bring us happiness, but it's backwards. You need to go for the inner joy, the inner peace, the inner vision first, and then all of the outer things appear. manifest. Now, one day I went into somebody's home, and he was an art director of a very famous film producer. And in every corner, he had this beautiful image of a woman, a naked woman dressed in fabric, kind of doing this, kind of saying, oh, I don't look at you like this. And I said, I think you have trouble in your romance.
Are you a clairvoyant or something?
No, look, 7 places you have exactly that woman.
I love that kind of painting. I painted it myself.
That's even worse. Because you put all your creation and your creativity. Now he's a gorgeous looking man. He has all these actresses around him. And because this is the work he does, he doesn't get romance. What do you want?
Well, I want to date 3 women a week.
Okay, paint yourself with 3 women and hang it in every corner. Six months later, I see you said, how is your love life?
Great. They just they don't want to date.
Because that's your wish.
Now I have like 3 dates a week. They're fighting over.
Good on you.
But I really want to stabilize a little bit. I want marriage. And I want romance.
Love. Tips. Okay? So he created a beautiful romantic relationship. And a year later, he comes and is very happy. Because he put another wish out. But he wished himself for years, but it did not happen. Because his wish could not manifest because the outer level of himself, his house, was just contradicting himself all the time. So if you know this knowledge, you should start playing with this.
Inside relationships, it's important to first understand who's coming into the relationship, and not your partner, but to understand yourself.
How can you ever expect anyone else to enjoy your company if you don't enjoy your own company? And so, again, the law of attraction or the secret is about bringing that into your life, and you've got to get really, really clear. Here's the question I want to ask you to consider. Do you treat yourself the way that you want other people to treat me? You become the solution for you. Don't like, now you owe me and you need to give me more. Instead, give more to yourself. Take time off to give to yourself, and in a sense, to fill yourself up to fullness, where now you can overflow in giving.
I got into many relationships expecting my partner to show me beauty because I didn't see my own beauty. See, when I was growing up, my heroes are my shero were the bionic woman, Wonder Woman, are tropic. And while they're wonderful, They didn't look like me. It wasn't until I fell in love with my mocha, my full lips, my round hips, my curly hair. It wasn't until that moment that I fell in love with me that the rest of the world was able to fall in love with me as well.
There's something so magnificent about you. I have been studying you for 44 years. I want to kiss myself because you're going to get to love yourself. I'm not talking about conceit. I'm talking about a healthy respect for yourself. And as you love yourself, you'll love others.
Relationships were so used to complaining about other people. My co-workers are so difficult to work with. My husband makes me so mad. Children are so lazy. It's always focusing on the other person. For relationships to really work, we need to focus on what we appreciate about the other person, not what we're complaining about. When we're complaining about those things, we're only getting more of those things. Even if you're having a really hard time in a relationship, things aren't working, you're not getting along, someone's in your face. You still can turn that relationship around. Take a piece of paper for the next 30 days, once a day, sit down and write all the things that you appreciate about that person. Think about all reasons that you love them. You appreciate their sense of humor. You appreciate how supportive they are. And what you'll find is that when you focus on appreciating and acknowledging their strengths, that's what you'll get more of. And the problems will fade away. We cannot control other people, no matter how hard we try. So what you'll find is if somebody's come home in a bad mood, and you're actually in a good mood, you'll find yourself in a different place from them in that moment. We create our own happiness with the law of attraction.
Oftentimes, you give others the opportunity to create your happiness. And many times, they fail to create it the way you want it. Why? Because only one person can be in charge of your joy, of your bliss, and that's you. So even as a parent, as a child, as a spouse, even the people closest to you, they do not have control to create your happiness. Your joy lies within you.
It's important to recognize that our body is really the product of our thoughts. We're beginning to understand in medical science the degree to which the nature of thoughts and emotions actually determines the physical substance and structure function of our body.
We sugar pill or something. You tell the patient that this is just as effective. And what happens is the placebo has the same effect, if not greater effect, that sometimes the medication is supposed to be designed for that effect. So they found out that the human mind is the biggest factor in the healing of it, more so than sometimes the medication. If somebody is in a situation where they're sick and they have an alternative to try to explore what is in their mind, creating it versus using medicine, it's an acute situation that could bring death to them. Then obviously the medicine is the wise thing to do while they explore what the mind is about. So you don't want to negate medicine. Every form of healing has a place.
The universe is a masterpiece of abundance, good health, and well-being. When you open yourself up to feel the abundance of the universe, you'll experience the wonder, the joy, the bliss. You'll experience all the great things that the universe has for you. Good health, good wealth, good nature. When you shut yourself off with negative thoughts, you feel the discomfort, you feel the aches, you feel the pain. You feel as if every day is painful to get through.
You know people who have had terminal disease. Stop and think of the word dis-ease. Hyphenate the word. That's a body that's not at ease.
We've got 1,000 different diagnoses and diseases out there. They're just the weak link. They're all the result of one thing: stress. And you put enough stress on the chain, you put enough stress on the system, and one of the links breaks.
Our physiology creates disease to give us feedback. Let us know we have an imbalanced perspective and we're not loving and we're not grateful. So the body's signs and symptoms are not something terrible.
The question is frequently asked is when a person has a manifested a disease in their body temple or some kind of discomfort in their life, through the power of right thinking, can it be turned around? And the answer is absolutely yes.
On November 23rd, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I truly believed in my heart, with my strong faith, that I was already healed. During the day, all day long, I would just say, thank you for my healing. On and on and on I went, thank you for my healing. I believed in my heart I was healed. I saw myself as if cancer was in my body. One of the things I did to heal myself was to watch very funny movies. That's all we would do, is just laugh, 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 laugh. We couldn't afford to put any stress in my life because we knew stress was one of the worst things you could do while you're trying to heal yourself. From the time I was diagnosed, which was November 23rd, to the time I was healed totally, was approximately 3 months. And that's without radiation and chemotherapy.
Well, we come with the basic program. It's called self
The immune system is made to heal itself. Disease cannot live in a body that's in a healthy emotional state. Your body is casting out millions of cells every second, and it's creating millions of new cells. And literally, parts of our body are replaced every day. Other parts take a few months, other parts a couple of years. But within a few years, we have a brand new physical body. If you have a disease and you're focusing on it, and you're talking to people, you're going to create more disease cells. Seekers of living in a perfectly healthy body. Let the doctor look after the disease.
Two people, both stricken with something. The one chooses to focus on joy. They choose to live in possibility. They choose to live in hope. They focus on all the reasons why they should be joyful and grateful. Then you have the second person. Same diagnosis, but they choose to focus on the disease. They focus on the pain. They focus on woe is me.
When a person is completely focused on what's wrong in their symptoms, they will perpetuate. The healing will not occur until they shift their attention from being sick to being well, because that's the law of attraction. Happier thoughts lead to essentially a happier biochemistry, a happier, healthier body. Negative thoughts, stress, jump to seriously degrade the body and the function of the brain. Because it's our thoughts and emotions that are continuously reassembling, reorganizing, recreating our body, remove the physiological stress from the body, and the body does what it was designed to do. It heals itself. I've seen kidneys regenerated. I've seen cancer dissolved. I've seen eyesight improve and come back. I always say that incurable means curable from within. You can change your life and you can heal yourself.
Well, my story begins March 10th, 1981. It really changed my whole life. Hey, I'll never forget. I crashed an airplane. I ended up in the hospital completely paralyzed. My spot before was crushed. The first and second cervical vertebrae. My swelling reflex was destroyed. I couldn't either drink. My diaphragm was destroyed. I couldn't breathe. All I could do was blink my eyes. The doctors, of course, said all my life I'd be a vegetable. All I do is blink my eyes the rest of my life. That's a picture they saw me, but it didn't matter what they thought. The main thing was what I thought. I picture myself being a normal person again, walking down the only thing I had to work with in the hospital was my mind. And once you have your mind, you can put things back together again. That was a picture of respiration. And they said I'd never rebuild my own again. Whatever was this story. And this little voice kept saying to me, breathe deep, breathe deep. They were the last connection. See, I could not afford to let out anything that could put my mind that would distract me from my goal and from my vision. Well, I said I could go to walk out of the hospital. Christmas, that was my goal. That's the day I will never forget. For people that are sitting out there right now watching this, if I want to sum up my life, sum up people, when they can do it, if I would sum it up this 6 words, man becomes what he thinks it's about.
People have a tendency to look at the things that they want and say, yes, I like that. I want that. However, they look at the things that they don't want and they can get just as much energy, if not more energy, with the idea that they can stamp it out. They can eliminate it, obliterate it. In our society, we become content with fighting against cancer, fighting against poverty, fighting against drugs, fighting against terrorism, fighting against violence. We tend to fight everything we don't want.
Anything we focus on, we can create. So if we're really angry for example, war that's going on, or strife, or suffering, we're getting our energy. We're pushing ourselves, and all that only creates resistance.
The reason those voices resist persist is because you're resisting something. You're saying, no, I don't want this thing because it makes me feel this way, the way I'm feeling right now. So you're just putting out this strong emotion of, wow, I really don't like this feeling, and it's there, and it just comes racing forward.
So the anti-war movement creates more war. The anti-drug movement is actually created more drugs because we're focused on what we don't want, drugs.
How much sense does it make for us to give the problem all of the energy, as opposed to
the energy and all the focus. You want to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. It's okay to notice what you don't want because that gives you contrast. Say, well, this is what I do want. But the fact is, the more you talk about what you don't want, or talk about how bad it is, read about all that all the time, right? And then say, oh, how terrible it is. You're creating more of that.
You know, sometimes people say to me, well, James, I have to be informed. Maybe you have to be informed, but you don't have to be inundated.
I would say with the voice, the vision on the inside become more profound, more clear and loud, and the opinions on the outside, you master your life. Learn to become still and to take your attention away from what you do and all the emotional charge around it, and place the attention on what you wish to experience. Energy flows where attention goes.
It's your job to go with the flow inside of the universe and to celebrate inside the world that exists.
One of the questions I get almost all the time is probably on somebody's mind right now. It's not yours. And that's the idea that, well, if everybody uses the secret and they all treat the universe like a catalog, aren't we going to run out of stuff? Won't everybody just make a run for it and bust the bank?
What's beautiful about the teaching of the great secret is that there's more than enough to go around for everyone. There is a lie that acts like a virus within the mind of humanity. And that the lie is there's not enough good to go around. There's lack and there's limitation and there's just not enough. That lie has people living in fear, greed, stinginess, and those thoughts of fear, greed, stinginess, and lack become their experience. So the world has taken an item. Now the truth is more than enough good to go around. There's more than enough creative ideas. There's more than enough power. There's more than enough love. There's more than enough joy. All of it begins to come through a mind that is aware of its own infinite nature.
Every great teacher who's ever walked the planet has told us that life was meant to be abundant. So, here's what we think resources are good. We find new resources to achieve the same things.
And so, even though we say we have lack, it's because we don't open up our vision to see all what's around us.
You know, when everybody starts to live from their heart and go for what they want, they don't go for the same thing. That's the beauty of this. We don't all want BMWs. We don't all want the same person. We don't all want the same experiences. We don't all want the same clothing. We all want fill in the blank. There's enough for everyone. If you believe it,
love, all of the abundance, all of the prosperity. It's there, ready and waiting for you to grab a hold of it. And you gotta get hungry for it. After one, you gotta be intentional. And when you become intentional and on fire for what you want, the universe will deliver you every single thing that you want. Recognize the beautiful and wonderful things around you. Bless and praise them. And on the other side, the things that aren't currently working the way you want them to work, don't spend your energy fussing or complaining. Embrace everything that you want so you can get more.
Most of the leaders in the past, that's the great part of the secret, is empowering and sharing with others. This is the best time to have ever done life in history. It's the first time we've ever had the power to gain knowledge at our fingertips.
When we look around us, even at our own body, what we see is the tip of the iceberg.
Think of this for a moment. Get your hand and look at it. Now your hand looks solid, but it's really not. If you put it under a proper microscope, you'd see a mass of energy vibrating. Everything is made up of the exact same thing, whether it's your hand, whether it's the ocean, or whether it's a star. Everything is energy. And let me help you understand that just a little bit. The universe, of course, our galaxy, and individuals inside of this body are organ systems. And then there's cell, and then there's molecule, and then there's atoms, and then there is. So there are a lot of levels to talk about something on, but everything in the universe is energy. I don't care what city you're living in, you've got power in your body to get your power to eliminate the whole thing for nearly a week.
Most people define themselves by this finite body, but you're not a finite body. I mean, even under a microscope, you're an energy field. What we know about energy is this: you go to a quantum physicist and you say, "What creates the world?" And he or she will say, "Energy." Well, describe energy. Okay, can it be created or destroyed? It's always was, always has been. Everything ever existed, always exists. It's moving into form, through form, and out of form. Okay, great. You go to a theologian and you ask the question, "What created the universe?" And he or she will say, "God." Okay, describe God. Always was and always has been, never can be created or destroyed. All there ever was, always will be, always moving into form, through form, and out of form. See, it's the same description, just different terminology. Oh, if you think you're this meat suit running around, think again. You're a spiritual being. You're an energy field operating in a larger energy field.
We're all connected. We just don't see it. There isn't an out there and an in here. Everything in the universe
course, that means that you have got potential and power to create your world. And you are. You are. And maybe you've created things to this point that are wonderful and worthy. You haven't. Of course, I ask you to consider is the results you have in your life, are they what you really want? And are they worthy of you? If they're not worthy of you, then when would now be the right time to change things? Because you have the power to do that.
You know, a lot of people feel like they're victims in life, and they'll often point to past events, perhaps growing up with an abusive parent or a dysfunctional family. And I would add to the parenthesis here that most psychologists believe that about 85% of families are dysfunctional. So it's like all of a sudden you're not so unique. My parents were alcoholics. My dad had abused me. My mother, of course, I was 6 from the age of 13 to 18. I was involved in 3 gangs. I had a severe motorcycle accident. I was homeless at one point in Dallas. I lived in poverty for 15 years in Houston. When I was a child, I'm running into the world. And was considered disabled. And I was told I would never read, write, or communicate. Never amount to anything but go very far in life. That's almost everybody's story in some form or another. So that's just called so what. The real what is, what are you going to do now? What do you choose now? Because you can either keep focusing on that or you can focus on what you want. And when people start focusing on what they want, what they don't want falls away. And that part expands. The part disappears.
You are the designer of your destiny. You are God. You write the story. The pen is in your hand. And the outcome is whatever you choose.
The beautiful thing about the law of attraction that you can begin where you are. You can begin to think, real thinking. You begin to generate within yourself a feeling of harmony and happiness. The law will begin to respond to that. So now you start to have different beliefs, like there is more than enough in the universe, where you have the belief that everything goes right for you, or you have the belief that I'm not getting older, I'm getting younger. We can create it the way we want it by using the law of attraction. You can break yourself free from hereditary patterns, cultural codes, social rules, and prove once and for all power within you is greater than power to extend. You may be thinking, well, that's very nice, but I can't do that, or she won't let me do that, or she'll never let me do that, or I haven't got enough money to do that, or I'm not strong enough to do that, or I'm not rich enough to do that, every single one is a creation. God
feeling, the capabilities, and the talents, and the gifts, and the power that is within every single individual on this planet is unlimited. There is no blackboard in the sky. I want you to hit this one. Your purpose, your mission,
Yes.
life. There's nothing,
Hey.
the most blackboard in the sky that says, Neil.
No, she's still at work. She doesn't get off until 3. I said 4 like started.
Who lived in the
Yeah.
first part of the 21st century.
All right.
Colon.
All right.
There's a blank,
All right, you too. Thank you.
all I have to do to really understand what I'm doing here, why I'm here, is to find that blackboard. Find out what God really has in me. But the blackboard doesn't exist. So your purpose is what you say it is. Your mission is the mission you give yourself. Your life will be what you created as, and no one will stand in judgment of it now or ever. It took a lot of years for me to get it. Because I grew up very much with this idea that, there was something I was supposed to do. And if I wasn't doing it, I was like, God would be happy with me, But I really got that my primary aim was to experience joy. Then I began to do all those things which brought me joy. We have a saying, if it ain't fun, then don't do it. Joy, love, freedom, happiness, laughter. That's what it is. And if just experience joy, basically, meditating from the dark, I call it, do that. If you experience joy, you get so obviously how much, do that. When I pet my cat, I'm going to stay joy. When I walk in nature, I'm going to stay joy. So I want to constantly put myself in that state. And when I do that, then all I have to do is have the intention of what I want. And what I want manifest. So inner happiness actually is the fuel of success. Anything that makes you feel good is always going to be drawing in more. This right now.
Okay.
It's you.
So they fixed the internet. Oh, no, I guess the guy
When you
came.
want to utilize it, it feels good. It doesn't feel good, then you know. Let it go. Find something that feels good, that resonates with your heart.
When you follow your bliss, you live in a constant space of joy. You open yourself up to the abundance of the universe. You're excited to share your life with those you love. And your excitement, your passion, your bliss, it becomes contagious.
And that's what I'm doing almost all the time is I'm following my excitement, following my passion, following my enthusiasm, and I'm doing it throughout Joe's day. Enjoy the life with us. Because life is phenomenal. It's a magnificent trip. You will live in a different reality, a different
life, and people will look at you and say, "What's going to do different than me?" But the only thing that is different is that you were
You've been having things that people are saying that's impossible for you to do and have
really now moving into a new era. It's the era where last frontier is not space, as Star Trek is saying, but it's going to be mind.
I see the future of unbounded potential, unbounded possibilities. Remember, we're using that focus 5% of the potential of human mind. 100% human potential is the result of proper education. So imagine a world where people were using their full mental and emotional potential. You could go anywhere. You could do anything, achieve anything. See or discover the good thing inside. Every religious one tells us that. Every book of laws, every great leader, all the avatars of every who start making the wise ones. Many of them have been presented to you in this program. Now, what we call one thing to see. Are you understanding?
You've come to the job merely because something in you kept saying you deserve to be happy. You were born to add something, to add value to this world. To simply stay. Every single moment that you come to all prepare you for this moment right now. Now you get that you are the creator of your destiny. Imagine what you can do from this day forward with what now. What will you do with the moment? How will you see the moment? No one else can dance your dance. No one else can sing your song. No one else can write your story. Who you are what you do begins right now.
I believe this is something that about you. Regardless of what is happening to you in your life, regardless of how young or how old you think you might be, only you can think properly. This is something that is within you. This power in you that's greater than the world. It will begin to emerge. It will take over your life. It will feed you. It will clothe you. Guide you, protect you, direct you, sustain your very existence.
Okay, so that was the video portion of today's class. Later on, we'll be going over what we watched and have a question and answer section. Right now, I have a couple things I have to get to, so I have to cut this short. Please stay tuned and keep an eye out for our next day of class and our next hangout videos. Thanks for tuning in.